Dubai. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show, where we go through the top trending stories that everyone across the country is talking about. Our top story for you today: Dubai is set to build its first air taxi station this year.
As well, traffic in Dubai hit a standstill in certain areas last night.
Were you affected? Also, the UAE unveils a new religious student awareness program.
As well, a teacher of 18 years questions her farewell gift.
And later on in the show, Instagram versus reality. We're deep diving into what it's actually like being a travel influencer in Dubai. We've got Cruising Cravings on the Lovin Dubai show today.
It is 347 days since the genocide continued in Gaza on October 7. The current death toll stands at 41,252 and the number of injured people is 95,497 and 1.9 million people have been displaced from their homes.
In today's rapid weather report, in true September form, September is Septembering. Temperatures will peak at 39 degrees Celsius today and humidity is back up to 75%. This is cute.
It is cute because I want to talk about couple who post on social media.
Yeah, we saw this new study and it says, it claims couples are less likely to post their partner, happy couples are less likely to post their partner on social media. Have you ever been a partner poster?
No. But I believe that a couple who post a lot about each other on social media tend to post it because they want to prove to the world they probably have a toxic relationship and they probably want to show people around that, hey, we're still together.
We're still happy.
We're still happy. They probably are not. And we're going strong. And it's like validation to their own selves and the people around them.
Interesting. So the results say pretty much similar, that couples who post 3 or more selfies together each week, they were found to be 128% unhappier compared to those who keep their relationship more private. You know what I think when I look at this? I think it's anyone who's posting a whole lot on social media, because it's that instant validation and it's the highs and the lows and you're looking to the public for. So I think maybe it's maybe less about the couple together, but if there's a person in it who's unhappy, I don't know, who's posting more, and then therefore they're unhappy. But maybe it's not reflective of the couple.
I mean, I don't know. But for sure, like, I agree with you. I do. Like when you post a lot on social media, it's because you want that validation from the likes, from the people viewing your stories, people liking your pictures and your stories. However, regarding couples, I actually do believe that, you know what, if when they have let's say a rocky time in their relationship, they post because they're like, we're still together.
And then there's the people who don't post, who are watching every second being like, do they seem as happy?
Literally.
Yeah.
And then the moment they stop posting, people who are very invested in their relationship, because they post a lot, they go like, ooh, so this couple stopped posting. Maybe they broke up. And then they would go on their profiles only to find out that they unfollowed each other and they go like, oh yeah, they broke up.
But there's even like power couples that I think about. For example, in Irish media that I follow, but also here. And if they're couples that are in the eye of the social media, you're always kind of aware. Like if it's like her business and he's there in the background, you're thinking, oh, I haven't seen him in a while. And you go back and you're like, oh, hey, there he is. They've posted. They're okay. They're together. So I think that people kind of generally have to find a fine line of what suits them authentically as a couple.
I know But as well, I feel like, I don't know, like we lost the sense of privacy. Like why, fine, I understand, maybe that's your job. Maybe they are a couple influencers and so on. But if you guys are going to have, like for example, I had a relationship and we were going through a really bad time in our lives. And the person would tell me, if you want to prove to me that you still care about me, then you post me. And I was like, what? Are you crazy? Are you delusional? You know what I mean?
Wow.
Literally.
Yeah, that's the age we're in, right?
Literally.
Wow.
And I would be like...
You're like, no, therefore, I know that it's over. Yeah, it's so interesting how there's different markers to signs of relationships. Etno says, seems lovely. I post all of my partners on social media all times. If we exchange, okay, I'm not going to finish that. Then I'm definitely going to post you. Yeah, I think it depends on how the person feels authentically. So if it's normal for you, like I'm not a poster and therefore I wouldn't post my partner. But then I did the kind of, we've been engaged. So it's like like the moment milestones. However, then it's kind of sometimes nice for people who do post to have those memories to look back on rather than like 1,000 photos. So I think it's whatever works for you as an individual. I just hope that you don't have to go and do a call of 100 photos a while later because that gets awkward.
I agree with you.
Notice Farah and I are matching today. We don't plan this, by the way, but how cute. Let's jump into our top story. This grabbed headlines yesterday and we are excited.
Well, Dubai is about to start building first air taxi station this year. So construction of the city's very first air taxi station is set to kick off this year. The director of roads and Dubai's Roads and Transport Authority, RTA, has announced that they are working diligently to prepare air taxi stations, which are expected to be fully operational by 2026.
So Skyport's infrastructure will be leading the development with 4 initial vertiports, aka stations, planned at key locations: Dubai International Airport, Palm Jumeirah, Dubai Downtown and Dubai Marina.
Now, in a major step forward, this ambitious project is in collaboration with Joby Aviation. Just last week, Joby Aviation applied to become the first certified air taxi operator in Dubai. And as well, Joby's general manager revealed that the launch of their electric air taxis is scheduled for the end of 2025. So this is very exciting. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to stay on the road for so long. I'll just have a air taxi.
We've spoken about these so much before and how exciting that they're saying they're building the first stations this year. By 2026, they're going to be in the sky. How much we'll be using them, I don't know. But 4 key destinations means you can probably get from the airport to the Palm. Millionaires are just leveling up their lives every single second. How cool.
I mean, not only millionaires, by the way, like it's like the Dubai is leveling up its residents' lives. You know what I mean? It's like, fine, traffic, you don't want to get stuck in traffic? Yeah, you can pay a bit extra. I don't know how much of a bit. I hope it's not that expensive. But you can pay a bit extra, just like fly over traffic and not be stuck on the road.
Now, speaking of traffic, we know that it hit a standstill in certain areas last night. Were you in Business Bay around 10 p.m., 9 p.m. last night? And if so, were you stuck in traffic? A video went viral which showed cars on a standstill. So we put the question to you, how long was your journey home last night?
And the first response on the video was, you call this traffic cute? Have you heard of Sharjah? At Rashid Sadid said, I took another route. Have you been caught by traffic recently in Dubai? I mean, look, Rashid, if you don't want to get stuck in traffic soon, you're going to have air taxis. How amazing.
This is the thing.
How amazing.
And there is so much investment. And I know it's so tricky because when you're in it, it's hard to see the shining light at the end of the tunnel. Like leaving Production City yesterday, it just feels like it's a minefield. I left one traffic route, I was like, I'm not sticking in this. And then I decided to go somewhere else. And I went up to another road and there was another thing and I was like, I'm going to walk home. So I literally got out, I was walking home because I was like, I'm not sitting in this traffic.
Oh my God.
But it wasn't that far.
Okay.
But however, it wasn't an essential trip, so I was like, I'm not going to do it. But When you're in it, it's tricky. But I've seen people's Instagram stories praising the RTA. What they're doing on the roads at the moment is absolutely magnificent. That road around JVC, it feels like it's been about 6 months and it looks like a huge American highway. It's absolutely phenomenal. And once it's ready, it's going to change the traffic in that area. And that's happening in so many clogged arteries around the city.
I mean, I wish I can relate. Honestly, I used to relate to being stuck in traffic.
No, you don't wish you could relate because you moved.
But I moved, you guys. I moved and now I am like 5 minutes away from home.
So you don't wish you could relate? Because it's the most thing that I certainly never want to relate to.
Well, okay, see, yesterday I was like, I woke up this morning and I saw stories on my Instagram of people getting stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, I am so lucky I moved because, as you said, the traffic is impeccable.
It's taking 2 to 3 hours.
Literally.
I spoke to Hind in our office. She came in yesterday at 7 a.m. She left her home in Ashman, correct me if I'm wrong, Hind, at 5 a.m. She said she's leaving earlier because of the traffic, but she was like, even at 5 a.m., the traffic is just, it's there. Like whatever time you leave. So I certainly don't want to relate, and I really feel for people stuck in traffic. I hope you've got a good podcast. I hope you've got a travel buddy. Carpool if you can. And although it is difficult to see the shining light at the end of the tunnel, we do know that they are making waves in terms of trying to fix the roads and also air taxis.
Or as well, you guys can just like listen to really good music, sing along, have your own concert in the car and just vibe.
So says the people who live 600 meters from the office. We're neighbours.
Casey and I, well, we are neighbours in the same building as well, and it's amazing. We both are so lucky to be living next to work. Well, let's jump to our next story. So the UAE unveils new religious student awareness program. Now, the Knowledge and Human Development Authority, KHDA, has just introduced a new initiative called AAL Program aimed at enhancing religious awareness among school students in Dubai.
The AAL program is designed to foster mutual understanding with the educational environment running throughout the academic year. This program features a range of activities including lectures, dialogues and educational workshops.
Now, the IACAD Director General Ahmed Darwish Al Meheri has emphasized that this program is a significant step towards creating a collaborative environment among students, parents, and as well educational bodies.
The KHDA Director General Aisha Abdullah Moran has praised this initiative for its role in raising awareness about social phenomena and promoting positive interactions among the younger generation.
Now, the AAL program is set to play a pivotal role in enhancing both religious and social understanding within Dubai schools, showcasing the power of institutional collaboration in enriching educational community, which is really, I would say, amazing, as we have on our feed previously posted how Dubai is as well launched a preaching content creators training program, which is really cool because Dubai is maybe enhancing the religious awareness, whether it's for content that is actually posted, preachers who are posting content, and as well at schools, and it's really nice.
100%. So on so many levels, looking at new ways to teach religious studies in schools, and as you said, on social platforms as well, which I think is so interesting. And that is called the Preaching Content Creators Program. And there's more information on that on our feed if you would like to check it out. We're going to take a quick break with a fun fact that Lovin is now based in 22 cities. We have an amazing team of local journalists around the city bringing you the best stories in bite-sized news.
Well, get to know your region. You can find them on social and daily newsletters and podcasts like this show or on our app. Find them wherever you get your news.
And let's jump into our next story. We're talking about a teacher of 18 years who's questioned her farewell gift. Would love your thoughts on this one. So a teacher who worked at a local school here in Dubai for 18 years took to Facebook, posing a question to the public. She shared her story. She said, in June of this year, she was informed that her contract would not be renewed. Now, this was after term ended. So the notification came in the form of an appreciation card and a bottle of perfume from a supermarket worth 73 dirham. Now, what upset her the most was that it was so late in the year, she didn't even have a chance to inform her students that she wouldn't be returning. So she's asking, do you think that this is a fair send-off? What is your take?
I honestly think it's not a fair, because it's 18 years. You know, she has dedicated her life, you know, for 18 years to teaching students. And I believe that
it's a job.
The role of a teacher is so big and so huge. It's bigger than every other job. Because if you want to think about it in a way that the teacher is raising the children, you know, like the children that are in the classroom, their brains are like a sponge. So whatever the teacher tells them, they grasp onto it. And she probably was a good teacher. There is no doubt. And to have her terminated in that way, I would say that's kind of like unfair.
Yeah, I think the unfair thing was that she didn't get a chance to inform her students. Because, and I'll play a little bit of a devil's advocate to you, is that like, it is a job and it's a professional space. Yes, teaching, I do think is an advocacy. It's like something that you have to put your heart and soul into, especially 18 years. But generally, it's your relationship with the students that are the most important. So, and I do think that a school or a business will have a way to say goodbye to their teachers.
Yes, 100%.
But I think that for her, I think if you're really invested in the school and the pupils as they grow and you've been there, so I'm not sure what year she was teaching, but if she's been there for 18 years, the whole cycle of students in that school, she'll have taught each year. So it would be very important to be able to have that moment and to let them know. So I think in terms of an empathy move, the school should have acknowledged that she was leaving before the end of the term, so she'd be able to have that goodbye. Because at the end of the day, it's if the employer-teacher relationship is one thing, but I just think that it would have been nicer for her to be able to have her moment with her favorite students.
I agree with you, and as well, you know, you wouldn't like it. Like the students wouldn't like it if like they get back the next term and they just like, oh yeah, the teacher's not there. She's gone. There's no explanation. There's nothing. You know, it would have been as well a better move from the school to maybe, I don't know, not just like take her out like that.
Let her know in advance.
Literally, yeah.
Because I think because she mentioned the price of the perfume and that it was from a supermarket, and I think that that's just probably how they do it, you know? So like, I myself, like, you could say, don't bother, give me the perfume, but at the same time, some people might value that. You know, some people could value the perfume. So, and I think if that's what they do for teachers on that level, that's what they do. But I think, yeah, like the main thing is let the kids know. And then I'm sure the kids would have facilitated with a nice gift.
I mean, it's not only about that, because like, for example, like I remember when I was like younger and my teacher would suddenly not want to come to school, and she would let us know. We would, you know, have like get her cake. We would.
What do you mean she wouldn't want to come to school?
Like, because like she would be pregnant and she would have to go and give birth and so on, and then she'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna be coming back next term. So we would get her cake. Would have like an actual farewell to her, but it was never like kind of like a, oh yeah, teacher's not coming next semester. Like, oh, she's just like gone.
True.
She evaporated.
Yeah, and it's the school can value the teachers to a certain extent, but actually it's the parents that really value because they see the time and the heart and the soul and energy that you're giving. And I remember in our school, first of all, I used to teach for a couple of years in a school in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and we weren't meant to actually have interactions with the parents. It wasn't allowed. But the parents would always be like, so how's she doing? How's Elia? And then you kind of tell them. And then they'd always try and sneak in gifts into the school in their handbags. You know, the parents, so cute. They'd be like, this is for you. And I'd be like, I'm not allowed to take it. But then obviously sometimes you just put it under the desk. Because, you know, they've literally put, and it wouldn't, if it was a gift of high value, there might be a discomfort there. But generally, it might have been something that the kid made at home for you, or they went to like an arts and crafts. You'd be like, thank you so much. Cute.
Because you know what, as well, I remember when I was like younger, I promise you guys that a good teacher leaves a huge impact on the kids. And I remember, like, you know, from the first day of school, I'd go back home and I'd be like, Mom, so this teacher is my favorite teacher. And immediately my mom would be like, okay, well, you know what? So if my daughter likes her, then she is going to be a good influence on her. And then, of course, there would be like that kind of like relationship. So
I still remember my cutie Zane. If you're out there, you're probably about 10. I love you. I miss you. It was so adorable. Okay, it's 8:49. Let's jump in to our next guest. Instagram versus reality. Travel influencer Cruising Cravings is going to join us very shortly. We're going to talk about the dream job, travel influencing. Is it as easy as it looks? Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Does our next guest have the dream job? A travel influencer who's been to some of the most beautiful places in the world, but is it as easy as it looks, from brand collabs to luxury getaways? Let's dive deep into the world of travel influencing in Dubai with Kenan and Fatima, aka Cruising Cravings. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. Your page looks amazing. I just want to give you that. But if you can tell everyone about your page, what will people learn when they visit Cruising Cravings on Instagram?
So, Cruising Cravings, like the name suggests, it's cruising and cravings. So it's travel and food. But what people can really expect, and what I really love to share, is, budget finds, budget trips. Because growing up in Dubai, I have always been restricted to, traveling here and there. But people usually, expect that, okay, from Dubai, countries, like, people feel like Dubai is a main hub, right? So there are a lot of countries that you can actually visit from Dubai. So I create more of budget videos and unique destinations.
True.
Yeah,
and that's one of the cool things, is that like it's always, sometimes it feels like it's off the beaten track, which I think is
exactly
cool. One of the things that we really love about you as well is that you've given up your full-time job and you do this full-time. Let's talk a little bit about that. Were you nervous?
Absolutely. I was nervous back then. I'm nervous now. It's always a nerve-wracking feeling every time you wake up, because you don't know what your next move is going to be, what your next destination is going to be. So yeah, it is quite a nervous feeling, but I think it also follows by the passion to actually just go out there and, just create content that resonates with people and give that platform to people to let them know that, you can explore these destinations too. They're very accessible, especially from Dubai. So, yeah.
Interesting.
What's been like your biggest wow moment in your career?
I think there have been small milestones that I probably have manifested at some point that have been, those moments where I feel like, oh, wow, I finally made it. So it's very difficult to put like one particular milestone. But yeah, I think the wow moment for me was, the main wow moment was, when people call me and ask me, are you even in the country? Like, are you even at home? Because they think that I'm always traveling. So for me to hear that from people I know, it's quite a nice feeling because up until last year, I wasn't that person.
Right.
So yeah, it feels.
So you've been doing this full time for how long?
For a year now. A year and a half.
And
yeah.
how many countries have you visited? And also, you mentioned, living in Dubai, it's difficult to visit some countries. Like, do you have a secret for getting visas quicker than anyone else?
Yes. I actually try to visit more countries which are visa free or visa on arrival because I think that's what a lot of residents in UAE resonate with.
Yeah.
I think we all have very limited time to really go out there and explore. So normally they would prefer countries that are, just easy to go. So I made a list of countries that are all visa free or visa on arrival, and I want to tick them off first and then like get into the visa, process of it. But yeah, I normally try to visit countries which are visa free because that's just more helpful for the audience.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Now we know that influencing is numbers. Okay?
Yeah.
Numbers of views, followers, and the list goes on and on. So do you monitor your views closely? And like, what are your strategies to get more views?
I think I 100% do that, but I also feel Instagram as a platform keeps, evolving and the algorithm keeps changing. So it's really difficult to to understand the success of a video based on the views alone. For me, what really matters is how much the video has actually been shared or talked about. That's the measuring point of success for me because I could be doing a trend which would last for like 3 seconds and that video would get like 3 million views, for instance. But there are videos that people actually remember me for. And that's the kind of content I feel like, okay, that is what a successful trip or a video for me looks like.
So, love that, by the way. Can you share maybe a specific travel video that you feel really resonated with your audience?
I think my recent trip to Cotra, that was something very, very different and very unique, which I did it myself. And one thing I get a lot from my audience or like, my friends and family is that when I'm talking about a country, like they feel like they're part of it as well because I sound so convincing. But that's because when I visit a destination, I get so excited by how probably convenient it is or how interesting it is, to just go there. So it just like, shows in my videos. So Cotra was one such trip which came to me so randomly, and I went to that island. So I was actually, when I did my research, I was told that if I go to that country, I won't be able to go back to my home country because of some issues, but I did it anyways. And there are some myths that people don't share online, that you can get a stamp on your visa instead of your passport. Now, that's an information that people don't share, and everyone just thinks like, oh, I cannot visit Cotra. But I actually went and I, broke down that process, and that video, the people there, because that country was like nothing else. There were no buildings. It looks like a place where you would probably visit like 100 years ago. There's no civilization. It's just a very unique destination. So to really be there and, immerse myself into that kind of travel, I think that really resonated with my audience.
Where is Cotra?
Well, it's an island which is geographically part of Yemen, but it's controlled by UAE, which is actually very interesting because UAE, as a country, when you keep hearing that it always supports its brother nations and all of that, but I actually went there and I saw that almost like 90%, 70 to 90% of the country is supported by the UAE government, the admin control of it. And that's also Abu Dhabi is the only flight, like there's a flight in Abu Dhabi, that's the only one in the whole of world that goes to Socotra.
Wow.
From UAE. And it's a government chartered flight. So it's a very interesting process to go there.
How interesting. And I have to ask, as a woman traveling, do you travel alone? And are there safety concerns when you visit a new country ever? Does that ever ring an alarm bell for you?
100%, I think it does. Also, living in this country, we're so used to, having that comfort. You always feel like you're going to be safe, you're going to be just fine, right? But I have to constantly remind myself that I'm not in UAE, I'm in a different country, and it could be different here. So that has always been a concern, whether I go solo or I travel with anyone. So I think that's where it's a responsibility that comes in me, and to share with my audience the prime locations that you're supposed to stay in, or avoid certain things. But yeah, so I take that kind of responsibility. Even when I go solo traveling, I'm always like updating my closed ones and making sure that I'm back at home at a certain time or always in the public. So yeah.
Interesting.
Well, we all know the famous phrase Instagram versus reality.
Yes.
So when you travel, do you get to enjoy the destinations, or does creating content, taking a lot of footage, overpowers it?
I think I love creating videos. That's something that I have always made sure that I feel the passion towards creating videos. And if at a point I feel like I'm burning out, I actually take a small break on Instagram, because I think it's very important really to be authentic, because people can see through very easily. Your audience is very smart, right? So creating videos is just part of something I love to do. Becoming an influencer just happened along the way. So I go wherever I travel, wherever I go out, even now, like in the morning, I'm just taking videos. I love doing that. So I'm just happy that content creation became a part of it. And yeah, but it has come to some points. It also affects the people I'm traveling with, because I have to constantly make sure that, I'm not too into the whole content zone and actually just enjoying it. But yeah, I think I kind of like manage that when I do.
So when you travel, is it work or pleasure?
It's working pleasure. Well, it's 100% pleasure, and then I just end up traveling for work, and that's something I've always dreamt of. So yeah, it's both, I guess.
You mentioned there, you touched on burnout. And I think even as people who don't post on social media, we probably experience social media burnout. So I just wonder, what are the realities? Because many people watching you today would think, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to be a travel influencer, like dream job alert.
Yeah.
So what are the realities of your day-to-day?
So realities is it really affects your mental health to a lot of extent, because you're always constantly seeking validation, and you always feel that, okay, if this video did not perform well, like, is there something, are we missing something? Am I missing something?
Really?
Have I not communicated the point enough? Sometimes you also feel like, oh, this video is going to do really well, and it just doesn't, and you feel like, okay, all the hard work. Also, there are some challenges where, when you want to really spend time with your loved ones, like, I recently got married, and thank you. So it's actually, in fact, after marriage, I started traveling more because opportunities just ended up, So for me, I feel like those are some challenges, juggling between your personal life and your professional life, and creating that line between your personal and professional life. That's somewhere, I think those are some of the challenges that I face. And of course, finances is also an aspect that we need to take into account, because your money is going, right? Like, you need to find ways to sustain yourself in order to continue doing this. So yeah, those are some of the things.
Interesting.
Was there a destination that disappointed you, and why?
Disappointed?
Yeah.
You won't believe me if I said Bali disappointed
What?
me.
Interesting.
Yeah, Bali did disappoint me.
Oh.
And a lot of my friends were like, oh, we're not going to Bali because Conan said it's not good. And to that, I said that maybe I didn't do it the right way. You know, it's my perspective. Maybe I again, that was a work trip.
Okay.
So that's where the working for, for a trip becomes a little bit of, because you go to these destinations and you think, oh, wow, I'm going to Bali. But actually you're working there and it's not the same. So that place really disappointed me. So I do want to go back and experience it for the way it.
If you would go back, would you go back and have another vlog done from your point of view?
Yeah.
And have it posted?
Yeah, and I would explain why I didn't like it the first time. You know, my first trip was very commercial, so I did not really get to enjoy the Zen mode of Bali and, you know, just like relaxing mode.
I loved Bali. I think I was there for a couple of weeks in my teacher days because I had some great holidays and I loved it, but you can see that in parts it's getting really busy. So you go there for thinking that you're going to get that zen, but actually it's packed with people and a lot of traffic. Do you have advice for people who want to go out and pursue their dream? So what you did going from one career to another is amazing. And could you give one piece of advice to people who wish to do the same?
I think, chasing dreams or like following your passion doesn't only mean like quitting your 9 to 5. It could also mean, you know, just doing that one thing that you really want to do while you're working, or, you know, getting that dream job, or, you know, just doing some art. So I would really, what I would really like to say is that, you know, when you actually set your mind onto something, I know it may sound cliche, but it is the reality of it. Like when you actually set your mind to something and you know there's no going back, because when I quit my 9 to 5, I didn't quit thinking that let me give it a shot. I thought that this is all I've got now and I need to work towards it no matter what. And because I set my mind on that, I was only looking for doors and opportunities to help me grow that, instead of thinking I have a backup plan. So my first thing I always tell my friends or anyone is don't have a backup plan, because then you're leaving a room for actually, you know, jumping on to something if this doesn't work out. So I just went all in. Like my last, for me to start the travel, for me to start this full time, the only investment I had was my last drawn salary. And I said, I'm going to use this to reinvest and then take it from there. So yeah, and I think because even today there are so many creators, the competition is quite tough. I think what really differentiates you from the rest is being yourself. And when I say being yourself, you cannot copy another person or they cannot copy you. Like you as a person, your thoughts, your creativity is just your thing. So that's your greatest USP. And if you really capitalize on that, people will love you for that and people will know you for your authenticity.
Nice.
So yeah.
Well, if you could revisit one place for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Revisit from the destinations I've already been to? I think I would like to go to Thailand.
Really?
Yeah, because I think there's just so much to see and do. I just came back from a Thailand trip and it's the first time that I actually said, you know what, I want to go back. And the rest of the country, it's like, okay, I'm done with this. Now I want to look out for something new. But Thailand was one place where, it's everything is just so different. One corner is so different from the other corner and everything is super busy. And at the same time, it's really calm. So I would love to go there. And even India, I think, because India has a lot of, culture. It's quite different. But yeah, Thailand would be nice.
Thailand would certainly be nice. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time on the show. What a great chat.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, Farah.
Thank you, Casey.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Bye-bye.